So we do have quorum and it's 6 o'clock, so we can go ahead and get started. So hi everybody, my name is Allison Hanna. I am the committee clerk for the Kingston Environmental Advisory Committee. Since this is the first meeting of this committee this year, we will need to go through the election of officers. So I will ask if there are any volunteers or nominations for the position of chair. Anybody? Just a reminder that we can't have a meeting without a chair. So if there's anybody who wants to volunteer or a nomination.
Allison, do you mind if I say a few things?
Sure.
As Allison mentioned, this is the first meeting of the year, so we have to do nominations for a new chair and vice chair. Which in all realistically may only be this meeting, since we are in October, so we're not sure if there will be another one before the end of this year. So you may only do one meeting. There's not that much responsibility. You sort of chair the meeting and try to guide it. And if you're new, that's okay as well. Trust me, I know that being on the Arts and Recreation Committee. The clerk staff are great and they'll guide you through and help you with the agenda. And it's a great opportunity and good learning experience, especially if you want to do something later down the road, something put on your resume or whatever it may be. As I mentioned, I'm going to guess this may be the only meeting till the rest of the year. And then if we have a meeting in January, we're doing elections again. Correct me if I'm wrong, Allison.
No, that's correct.
Okay, so I think it's a great opportunity for someone in the public to take the reins as chair and vice chair, which may only be this meeting. So I will leave it at that for those to think about it.
Okay, so I will call once more if there are any volunteers or nominations for the position of chair.
I don't mind doing it.
Okay, great. Could I have, so a mover and a seconder for Zachary to be the chair of this committee? I see Alan and Jessica. Perfect. So now we will move on to electing the vice chair. Do we have any volunteers or nominations for the position of vice chair?
Hi, Allison. Mike Dakin. I'm a technical rep, so I'm not entirely sure if I'm eligible. Do you know?
Yep, you would be eligible. Any member of the committee would be eligible for this position.
Okay, I'm happy to do it. If there's others, members of the public, by all means do it. But yeah, I've been around for a while on the committee, and I can help Zach out as needed.
Okay, perfect. So do I have a mover and a seconder for Mike to be the vice chair of the committee? I see David and Jessica. Okay.
Zachary, I'll just mention too on Councillor's words there. I'm happy to support you too in this position. I've done this, as I said, for about 4 years, so it was a fun position to be part of and committee, and so hopefully we'll have a bit more action in the years coming forward. But happy to support you in any way I can.
Thank you.
Okay, so before I pass it over to the chair, could I just call a vote to confirm the positions of chair and vice chair of the committee? All in favor? Okay, great. So I will pass the meeting off to our chair, Zachary.
Uh-oh.
So if you have the agenda in front of you,
I do.
we'll just go through it. We will have to call the meeting to order at the time, and we'll need an approval of the agenda, which would call for a mover and a seconder, and we'll go through the same process for the confirmation of minutes.
All right, here we go. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
So call of order is 6:05 PM. Can I have, and then we move to the election of officers, correct?
We'll move to the approval of the agenda.
Okay, sorry about that. Can I have someone move and second the approval of the agenda? Shaves moves. Can I have a seconder? Anybody want to put up their hands? Oh, Mike, sorry, just seen it. All right, all in favor, say aye. Or sorry, I'm used to saying that. Can I have somebody move the confirmation of the minutes? There we go. Now I have my gallery up. Sorry, can I have somebody move it again? Jessica, and can I have a seconder? David? Now what do I do? Sorry.
So now you would ask if there are any disclosures of pecuniary interest from committee members.
Is there any disclosure of, I'm gonna butcher this, pecuniary, interest? Coming up with the cold.
Okay.
No?
Okay. So we can move on. There are no delegations and no briefings. So if you want to move on to the first item of business, you could ask staff to introduce the report.
Can I have the staff report the Kingston Community Climate Action Fund project selection? The report of the Commissioner of Growth and Development Service, KEAC 24001.
Yes, thank you. And good evening, everyone. I'm not sure if Soren is on. If he's not, I can proceed with the briefing, or I guess it's not a briefing, just a quick overview of the report before you. If there's any questions, be happy to take them. So before you tonight is the Community Climate Action Fund project selection. So each year, a little background for those who may not be so familiar with the program. It's a campaign where we receive applications from nonprofits and charities who want to implement a project within the community that either reduces their greenhouse gas emissions, some adaptation work. And then on December 1st to March 30th of the following year, we have a public donation campaign where the community can donate to the particular projects that have been recommended by the committee to council, then approved by council through either Canada Helps or the Kingston Community Credit Union. And so we have that public donation campaign. The credit union will match up to $5,000 of money that's raised within their branches. So if $5,000 is raised within their branches, they will match that to $5,000. So this year before you, we have two applications. We had our campaign for applications ran in August, and we received two applications. One from the Bloom Skills Center, Little Forest Kingston, and Cassie, which is the Kingston Area Seed System Initiative, and Loving Spoonful. And they are looking for their project to construct a greenhouse and purchase seed cleaning and seed propagation equipment. And then we have Extended Family Kingston, who's looking to purchase a hydroponic greenhouse, upgrades to make it more accessible, and proceed with that project as well. So each project, we have our funds requested. One is $33,323.62, and the other is $30,000. What I can confirm to the committee this evening is that both of the applicants are registered charities, and both of the projects meet the criteria of the Kingston Community Climate Action Fund. Some of the background I've provided as well in this report is with respect to the project from last year. So there was only one project received that proceeded last year, and that was All Relations Land Trust. And they were looking to raise $27,179.47. The funding goal was met. And I'd just like to provide some clarification to the committee today. So the report speaks to, we don't really lay out the amount of money raised by the public donation. We speak to public donation, the city matching. So the city will match up to $15,000 of funds raised if the $15,000 is required. So we did not include that in the report after it was raised by our councillors. So I just want to clarify for the committee today that the fundraising last year was very successful for All Our Relations Land Trust. Public donations received for the project was close to $19,000. There was over $5,000 raised through the credit union, so they matched up to $5,000. And the city then covered the balance to ensure that they met their goals, their fundraising target, and that was close to $3,600. So I just wanted to clarify that for the committee itself, because if you look at the report, it doesn't lay that out. It speaks to matching funds from the city and such. What I can say is that staff is very confident that we can raise the funds for both of these projects this coming year. We've had a lot of interest. We've already received one donation from Coke Canada that will go towards one of these projects after if we proceed and they're approved by council. So there's already $3,000 in the pot. So we're very excited about that. One of the other requirements that both the applicants and any donors are made aware of is the applicants, as you can see, they're asking for roughly $30,000. They have to acknowledge in their application that if they may need some internal monies from both of those organizations to reach their fundraising targets, and as well as to donors. So through the CRA, the Canada Revenue Agency requirements, as you donate as a public donor, you have an acknowledgement either through Canada Helps or at the credit union that your money, if you're putting it towards, for example, Extended Family Kingston, and that money is not raised to meet that hydroponic greenhouse, and Extended Family decides not to proceed, those monies raised for that will go to the other project. So under CRA rules, people are aware that their donation may be targeted, but may be moved if both of those projects don't proceed following next year. But as I said, staff is confident that we can have a great fundraising campaign and meet both of those targets. And with that, I will leave it. And if there's any question, I'll be happy to answer them.
So Julie, it's Alan. I'm still not clear on how the matching works. So you say that last year $19,000 was raised through public donations. Did that trigger the $5,000 Kingston Community Credit Union matching donation? Did it?
So if $5,000, so there's two. So the city of Kingston will match up to $15,000, and we're the second one to match if needed be. So last year, All the Relation Land Trust, their goal was $27,000. We raised over close to $19,000 in public donations, and with that $19,000, $5,000 of that was raised at the credit union. So when $5,000 was raised in their branch, then they match with the $5,000. And so what was left over to meet their target of $27,000 was what the city put in at $3,544.79. And in addition to that, so if we exceed the requirements of the fund, people can donate to the general fund, which is then already in place for the following year. So for example, like Coke, who's already donated and has put $3,000 into the fund already.
Okay, I'll leave it there. And I see there's some other questions. I may come back to you.
I seen Jessica's hand first, and then Mike's and David after.
Thanks, Zachary. I have a really small specific question about just the scope for the extended family project. This project is great. I got a chance to tour it through the United Way Day of Caring. And I remember they were also hoping when we were visiting it to do something about rain capture, to be able to do something so that they didn't have to bring in bottled water for the, or perhaps it was something to do with cleaning the water on the site. I just wanted to mention that to see if that's something that they had mentioned to you as something that they were looking to do, because I don't see that in the project scope.
I was looking at your application as well.
I realize it's a really specific question, so it's
That's
okay
fine,
if you
and that's a
don't
really good question. I'm sorry, through you, Mr. Chair. We can certainly raise that with extended family Kingston. I think it's a really great idea. If they can fit that within their existing budget.
That would be great. Yeah, when we visited, they were bringing in bottled water, so they were looking to try to not do that. So I'm sure if possible, that would be excellent to be able to add that to their scope if they were interested in that.
Mike?
Thanks. And Julie, through you, Mr. Chair, a question about the physical locations of first the greenhouse and then the hydroponics site. I saw Montreal Street listed for the first. Is that where the greenhouse is proposed?
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. The extended family Kingston is on Montreal Street. And the other one is located at, actually, I'll pass it over to Soren Christensen. Our project manager is on the line as well, and he's been working with the applicants and know the answer. And if not, I can quickly go through their application again.
Yes, thank you. And through you, Mr. Chair. So the second project is located at Lakeside Community Garden on Front Road, adjacent to the corner of the former prison farm. I'm forgetting the name of the other intersection, but I believe I list it in the report. But if you search Lakeside Community Garden, you can find the location.
That the Center 70?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And the greenhouse would be on the extended care property.
That's correct, yes.
Extended family, sorry, not extended care.
Family.
That's another matter.
Extended
Okay.
family Kingston, yeah.
Okay, thanks so much.
Okay.
David? You're muted.
Through you, Mr. Chair, my question's regarding the Loving Spoonful association with the one proposal. I understand they're restructuring or redoing their focus, and their website sort of says that they're not going to be operational. So I'm just wondering whether staff might want to just double check with them, because if they're not in existence, we maybe pull them off the application. I think they've still got lots of strength in that application, you know, without Loving Spoonful, but just wanted that clarified.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. We're aware of that as well. We reached out to our community gardens coordinator with the city, and just to ensure that Bloom Skills Center is actually the lead on the application. So they are the registered charity. They will be the ones receiving public donations. So all is good, but certainly if approved by council, when we start our campaign with our public engagement, we will ensure that Loving Spoonful, his name is removed from the application.
Any more questions? Jessica?
I was just wondering, through you, Mr. Chair, is there anything when you get to the part of the project where you're soliciting donations and you're advertising this to be able to raise the funds to the community, is there any help that the members of this committee can provide to that project? You've got some great representatives for different organizations here, so I imagine folks would be really happy to help.
We can absolutely do that. We've been looking to do that with our Climate Leadership Working Group and our internal and external members. So working with our communication officer, we can put an engagement plan together, some collateral, and share it with the members of this group who then can share it with their networks, because the more we can reach, the easier the fundraising will take place.
That's great. Thank you, Julie.
Anybody else? Thank you, Julie. Correct me if I'm wrong, we move to motions because there is no other business.
At this time, we would allow public questions, although there are no members of the public with us today. And after that, we would need a mover and a seconder to put this item on the recommendation on the floor. After which you would call or ask for if there's any discussion on the item, and then call the vote.
All right, can I have somebody move to put this motion to council? Jessica, can I have a seconder? And Beth? Is that at this time, is there any discussion?
Zach, it's Alan again. I don't understand the economics here. So we're the numbers. We're being asked to approve 2 applications that total $63,000, as I understand it. Last year, I mean, we can only go on last year's numbers for now. So last year there was 19,000 in public donations. There was 5,000 donated through the KCCC, which prompted a matching. So that's 10. So now we're at 29. The city, I think, and let's assume 19,000 is donated again. It may be more, but for now, let's just assume 19,000. So with that, I think that would trigger a matching donation on the part of the city for another 15. And that totals 44,000. So I'm making certain assumptions, obviously, about what happened last year and so on, and what may repeat this year. But there's a pretty big gap between 44 and 63. And I'm just not sure how that's going to be filled. Julie?
Yes, thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. So absolutely. Last year we had one project that they raised their money very quickly with respect to all our relation with Land Trust. Previous years, we've had 3 projects where we've raised over $50,000 in public donations and sponsorship. So last year and the year before, we started to look at sponsorships as well for some of the to go towards the fundraising. So as I said, staff is very confident with these 2 projects and the adaptation and the mitigation component of it, that will be very easily to raise those donations. So we don't have any concern with respect to that. But as I said previously, both of those applicants are aware that if the donations are not received, they will have to either not do the project or will have to submit some of their own funds towards it. So both of them are aware of that situation. But we are very confident that we can proceed with the donations and reach those campaign totals. So last year, I mean, was an anomaly because it was one application, but certainly the previous years we've raised more because we've had additional projects.
Okay, thanks. I didn't have that history, so that helps. Thanks.
Any more discussion? Going once, going twice, okay. So all in favor? All right. Then I move to motion, correct, Allison? Are there any motions? I don't think there is any motions nor any notice of emotions. Well, is there any other business? Do you have to move that there's no other business? I know some meetings do, some don't.
No,
right,
that's
thank you.
perfect. I do see Jessica has her hand up, however.
Thank you. Jessica?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. Allison, could I ask, can you go over for us, because it's been a year since we had our last meeting, what sorts of motions could committee members bring, or what sort of items for discussion could committee members bring to this group?
So typically motions would fall under business, and that would have to come from staff.
Hi, everyone. Sorry. My name is Ian Sullivan. I'm another committee clerk. Allison's a little new, so I'll step in on this one. So members of advisory committees can submit to the clerk's office at least if there's a scheduled meeting 2 weeks prior to the meeting, but they can submit it earlier. Any sort of potential business or motion that they would like to bring forward to the committee for consideration. And then the clerk's office will be able to assist you in making sure that that fits within the mandate of the committee, because the committee advisory committees can't, for example, direct staff, and they can't ask staff or ask council to spend certain funds. But they can often take the form of asking council to look into something. And so that's one of the reasons we ask members of the committee to reach out to us, just so we can make sure it fits within the mandate of the committee and within the procedure bylaw. And from there, it would then appear on the agenda and would be basically the same thing like you guys just did. There'd be a discussion, a motion, and then it would move on to council. But as there are none on this agenda, we would kind of just move on from that. Thank you.
Thank you for that reminder. That's really helpful.
All right. Do I move on to, why is that all blurry? The date of the next meeting, which,
Yep, we can move on. So there's no correspondence, so we can move on to the date of the next meeting.
do we take a vote, or do I just say the next meeting of the Kingston's Environmental Advisory Committee is to be determined?
Yep, that's it. And we would just need a vote to adjourn.
Can I have somebody move to adjourn? Jessica, second. How do I pronounce your name? I'm sorry.
It's Jaka, as simple as it is.
All right, thank you.
Mr.
Thank you, Jessica. All in favor? Close the meeting is 6:27 p.m.